You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry, ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for Anyone But You. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Anyone But You is a 2023 romantic comedy from director Will Gluck. Despite an amazing first date, Bee and Ben's initial attraction quickly turns sour. However, when they unexpectedly find themselves together at a destination wedding in Australia, they decide to pretend to be the perfect couple to keep up appearances. The film stars Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, Alexandra Shipp, and Dermot Mulroney. Well, now I have Unwritten stuck in my head, thoroughly lodged in here. So yeah, I guess it's safe to assume that Will Gluck is a big Natasha Bedingfield fan. After Easy A and its use of Pocketful of Sunshine, and now Anyone But You, and its use of Unwritten, that man is making sure Natasha Bedingfield stays in the conversation. Now I'm just gonna level with you. I'm gonna be real to start this review off. This type of rom-com is not really something that gets me out to the theater. And I was only really excited after I saw Glenn Powell stripping down in that trailer. Suddenly, I was ready. I was seated. I was here at the sneak preview, ready to go, popcorn in hand. Because otherwise, all the drama got us talking about this film because everyone was out here talking like, oh my gosh, they're breaking up the engagement. They're hooking up with each other. We hadn't seen this much sexual scandal due to promoting a film. Well, since we were actually promoting a TV limited series with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. But the film itself, I don't know, those trailers didn't appeal to me. Rom-coms have to give me a little bit something to get me excited, and it happened to be, a little bit of Glenn Powell booty to get me excited. And unfortunately, I wasn't the biggest fan of Anyone But You. There are certainly some redeeming factors other than Powell's peach, but by and large, it kind of felt like a very subpar effort to me. But let's go ahead and kick things off on a positive note with what the film does well. Well, I think when it leans into the snarky kind of humor, the little bit of sarcasm there, it's fun. And it got some chuckles out of me throughout the film. I honestly think the film is a lot funnier when they're enemies. It works better when they don't like each other. And I think maybe they did too good of a job making the two leads not like each other because I didn't really buy the flip by the end. But it's a lot more fun when they are bickering. And I think Sydney Sweeney particularly thrives a lot more in that environment than she does with the rest. But we're going to circle back around to her. I did also appreciate we had a rated R rom-com that gave us the spiciness, gave us the skin for sure that so many rom-coms are lacking. Now, in saying that, that scene we all saw with Glenn Powell and the spider, she got a lot more views than we did that I think we could have gotten. I think we could have gotten more of the booty, actually, but the moral of the story, basically, we get a lot of skin. So if that is what you're coming in here for, yeah, I think you'll be pleased. And I also think Glenn Powell actually is really good for this subgenre. He leans into what he does best. Really, I think everybody kind of just leans into their niche. And he's charming. He's effortlessly charming. He gives off fuckboy energy. And that's his character here. And he pulls it off really well. He is very charming. They frame him very beautifully. So, of course, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'd probably be falling too, if only for the weekend. And I'll say there are definitely moments like this interaction with the whole Titanic bit, or particularly the end credit sequence, which is kind of a cop out, that gives us this montage of the cast over Unwritten was great. Actually, it was probably my favorite scene of the whole film. There's moments here where you kind of fall into it. And I can understand where, particularly if you like rom-coms, I think they sprinkle in maybe enough moments to get you invested in the story. Somebody else will have to lead you there. But unfortunately, that's kind of where my positives end when it comes to anyone but you. So let's go ahead and talk about why it didn't really work for me. Well, obviously, it's a romantic comedy and it plays it exactly by the romantic comedy formula. And I don't think it pulls it off all that well. I don't think the chemistry is bad necessarily between Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. It just isn't great either, and it's not good enough to overcome a haphazard screenplay. I didn't buy them like being this magnetic force coming together throughout this film that just like was a part due to a misunderstanding, but the initial love and attraction just kept pulling them together. That's what the script was kind of telling you, but what I was watching on screen wasn't delivering that for me. Ooh, and Sydney Sweeney, darling. I know this might be controversial, might be a hot take, because I know a lot of people really love her. I haven't watched Euphoria, so sorry. Ooh, I don't think she was very good in this film. She was best when she got to be sarcastic and deadpan, but that's kind of where she stayed, was in this weird deadpan emotionless range for the most of the film. And then we get to other parts where maybe she's supposed to be a lot more emotional. And I actually had to stop and evaluate a scene because I couldn't tell if her character was meant to be drunk because of the offline delivery. It was very strange. But her performance just wasn't really working for me. And the screenplay, by and large, didn't work. Because while, yes, it plays by the formula when it comes to the central romance, it also does a lot of other tropes that are known for romantic comedies, but it just does so many and it just throws them all into a blender. So we have all of these contrivances everywhere. There's people meddling left, right, and center. We have drama with a wedding, drama with a parent, drama with friends, dramas with exes, and everybody's like meddling, running around. It's too much. It's way too much. They needed to parse this way down and just give us a straightforward, cute rom-com. Because at the end, too, you kind of are looking at this couple like, yeah, you are kind of assholes for doing all of this at somebody's wedding. Your sister's, you are here at your sister's wedding. What is going on? And speaking of the sister's wedding, I mean, all of the side characters are not well developed at all, including the couple that is getting married in the film. Or Glenn Powell's best friend in the film. Ooh, talk about another not great performance for me. That one didn't work either. And while I mentioned the skin part of the sexiness in my positives, I don't know that it's actually all that sexy in its execution. There's a sex scene, a lone sex scene in this film, and there's a lot of skin. You see a lot going on screen when it comes to the two people involved, but the way it's framed, the way that it is choreographed and shot is pretty stale and it's not sexy or steamy. And there's not really a lot of steamy moments here in this film, including like kisses. That's because I just felt like there wasn't a lot of like passion behind it. So when there was kisses or, embraces, even like the cutesy conversation moments, either the dialogue ran those off the rails or it just was shot like bread and butter. The movie is shot like bread and butter. I mean, the cinematography is not great. The editing also not great. And it led to a pretty slow pace. I think the film is too long, partially because they're trying to do too many of these little storylines off to the side. It's too long. Feel the rain on your skin. No, I'm not scared. Feel it for you. So overall, Anyone But You was unfortunately not for me. If you enjoy rom-coms, maybe you'll like this, but honestly, if you're looking for a steamy R-rated romantic comedy, stay home and watch Red, White, and Royal Blue on Amazon Prime. That one clears this, in my opinion. Otherwise, if you're not a fan of the genre, you can just skip this one altogether. It's not going to do anything to change your mind there. So that was my review for Anyone But You. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, Click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Anyone But You, or did you also check it out at one of these sneak previews? Let me know your thoughts on the film, either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. The rest is still unwritten.